Hello everyone, it's me Jenny and it's another commentary, woo, where I first reply to all of your comments typing wise and then I talk to you about your comments, so it's a conversation-y thing. And as always, I am filming on my web camera, so that's the lower definition, the reversed face, and the crappier audio quality, because I tend to ramble and then ramble some more and then ramble some more. So obviously I try and film these on Friday, and then I talk about the previous week's Monday to Sunday. So from last week's Monday gaming video, the only person to comment on that was Mark Armani, who said, "Okay, the game where Jenny squeaks, it is cute." Yeah, I realised during the editing that the only really interesting part of that game, from an outside perspective, was my reaction to the clothes. There is a lot more to Long Live the Queen, there really is. It's just hard to express that when edited down with a lot of the other games I play, because they're more visual or more exciting in a non-reading way. It's a lot easier to edit those where little clips from a 2-hour, 1 to 3 hour long stream edited down to under 10 minutes. You can make that either interesting visually or still tell a story, while with Long Live the Queen, it's hard to edit it down all of the thinking parts. Like if I were to just put in the best points of that, would probably be me going, how do I go with composure or internal affairs? That's what that game is, and it's a really good game because it makes you think and it's really challenging, and it's really it's a genuine challenge not to die. But trying to make it an out of context entertaining video for 10 minutes, really difficult, apart from me getting excited about clothes. So there we go. Moving on to my Tuesday video, my Grand Budapest Hotel review. Raymond Smith said he avoids that kind of film because it's just kind of artsy just to be artsy. I don't think that film was designed to be artsy just for the sake of being artsy. I think the director very much is that sort of thing. His whole style is artsy for the sake of artsy. I think that's Wes Craven. No, it's not Wes Craven. Oh, blonde moment. Who is it who directed that? Wes Anderson. Still Wes, so there we go. Wes Anderson's art style, movie making style, is artsy. It's not, I don't think it's for the sake of being artsy. I think that's just how he likes to express himself. I don't think he tries to do Oscar bait. He just really likes to control his vision in a very specific way, which is very artsy, but I don't think it's, I don't think he's aiming for Oscars. I think he just wants to really tell a story in a very streamlined, specific way. He's almost obsessive compulsive in the way that those scenes are managed and symmetrified. I think he and if anyone has watched Soul Eater, I think he and Death the Kid would get on pretty well because of their obsession with symmetry. So I don't think he does it for the sake of Oscar bait or for the sake of just being artsy. I think he just has a very specific way of telling his stories. But yeah, very interesting nonetheless. Again, I can truly believe it's not for everyone. It really isn't. But I really found it very delightful. And I think, I can't remember if I said it in the review, but there's a couple of moments that, due to the way that the pace is built, you actually get really invested in the story. It might be a bit of a grind towards the first half an hour, but there's a point where the thing in the box happens, and I was in full, complete belief that the bad thing had happened, and was devastated and surprised and very much within that moment at the time, just because of the way the story built. So it's moments like that, and I think it's got one of the best prison break scenes of all time, one of the most bizarre, cartoony car chases of all time. It's very pre-1940s silent movie comedy with obviously audio commentary rolled in, audio comedy rolled in, as well as musical comedy rolled in. I really enjoyed it, but again, I can truly understand why it's not for everyone. I'm the kind of person who really enjoyed the artist, so all's fair in love and war. Pablo said the cinematography was amazing. It was, in my humble opinion, it was really very well controlled, very sophisticated, and it's so simple, it was very sophisticated. On my Vida ? Wednesday video, where I was sorry, I'll get to that in a moment. On my Vita video, which was my window video, I needed to film something because I was very nearly ahead with my videos for the week, and I just wanted to film something. And I want to ask your opinion whether or not it would be amoral to title my daily vlogging videos Vida, even though I technically wasn't daily vlogging for the sake of Vida, I was daily vlogging for the sake of daily vlogging. And I wanted you guys' opinion on it. I was on my way to D&D, I was in a bit of a rush. And the reason why I started laughing the moment I saw the title, and I'm gonna leave it like that, screw it, I'm gonna leave it with the spelling mistake in the title. Sure. You see, I've been working so hard to up my production value on this channel. I have got the intro thing going on, and I've got my new, art style, and I'm actually really trying to keep up with the daily vlogging, and I've got my set days, and I make a mistake in the title of a video that I've only noticed a week and a half later. Oh well. The only person to comment on that video was Red Sky Blackbird, who said, always go before the sun goes down. Everyone knows that your roles get a disadvantage in the dark unless you're a rogue. You're a rogue. I don't think rogues get disadvantaged in the dark. I think not people with a non dark vision get disadvantage in the dark. So that's I'm pretty sure tieflings, dragonborn, gnomes, elves all can see in the dark, possibly Goliaths, while humans and halflings can't see in the dark. Most people can see in the dark when you go to D&D lore, but there we go. Maybe I am a rogue, maybe I'm not. I don't know. I don't think I'm a rogue. I think I'm too lawful good. You can't really get that many lawful good rogues out there because the whole point of being a rogue is that you be roguiness. So yeah, there we go. On my Thursday video, which was my response to Hershberger's series on YouTube Money, Big Virgo Tube says he agrees with the ratio of advertisements to fans, especially when it comes to monetizing a video. Yeah, I think that's really important when it comes to YouTube Money, is that you really have to take into account what your audience will hold you accountable, what you hold yourself accountable to. You've got to balance the money versus, being a sellout, which is a complete misnomer anyway. But I think from a moral standpoint, you have to represent what you believe in. And what you think your audience will like. It's just one of those things, like it's unfair to fill up someone else's life with something that they won't enjoy and that you're lying about. It's just not a good thing to do. But then again, I waste you guys' life every week for 40 plus minutes and someone's coming to the door, so I will stop filming once. I have no idea what I was saying. That's the trouble with shooting live when other people in the house who may not want to be filmed. I was talking about Big Virgo's Tube's comment on advertising to fans and how being a sellout is a misnomer and that sort of thing. I think you have to. I had a really specific thought and it's completely gone out of my head. That's what you get for doing these live, doodar. It was something to do with being a sellout, not being a sellout. Oh, yeah, I was saying that it's unfair to take time out of other people's lives for something that either you don't believe in or you know that they won't want to be interested in. And even though you guys are willing to take, however long it takes for you guys to watch my videos every single day, which is insane, out of your life, you choose to do that because of, whatever content I'm talking about. While if I were to talk about something that I don't feel invested in, I feel like I was cheating you guys out of time. And it's the same with the reason why I use adblock is I know I save so much time in my life, given how much content I absorb. I know I save a lot of time out of my life not having to watch pre-rolls and I would feel really, really bad enforcing that on others when I don't participate myself. I'd feel really, really awful. But I think that's also a side effect of, growing up in the UK where you have the BBC that has no adverts, or, growing up as a millennial where you have almost no reason to watch adverts, where you can flip, you don't just have 4 TV channels, you can flip to a different channel while you're waiting and watch something else that you enjoy, or, get out your phone or get out your computer or watch something online where you don't have any adverts. I feel like it's a cruel thing to do, to force people to watch adverts in a day and age when they don't need to. So I have a lot of mixed feelings about me actually going to that place. I think I might. We'll see. If I get to, say, 1,000 subscribers, which is a long, 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 long way off. If I get to that point, then I might consider possibly doing some sort of monetization, just because it does take a lot of time out of my life doing these, particularly commentaries, for example, where you guys see that I spend at least 40 minutes sat in front of a camera, usually. You guys obviously don't see me writing, replying to your comments, but I do try and reply to every single one of the comments that gets put on my channel, at least within a week. And I really, really do try and keep consistently to that. And it does take time, and I enjoy it, and it's a hobby, and it's a fun thing for me to do. But I might consider, depending on, I don't think I'll ever get to 1,000 subscribers, frankly. I've been doing this for 3 years, and I don't think I will ever get to 1,000 subscribers, which, at that point, there's really no point in me monetizing anyway. But if I were to get to a significant number of subscribers that is taking more time out of my life than I'm willing to give freely, then I might put some sort of monetization on this channel. But I feel like, again, it's just cruel and unnecessary and annoying to do that when I really don't offer anything more than anyone else can offer on the YouTubes, and probably less than many. So yeah, it's just random thought processy things. At the moment I won't, and I don't see a point anywhere in the future where I will be asking for money for my videos, because I give them freely, I receive videos freely, so it just seems fair. Moving on, Raymond Smith talks about how some of his videos, some of his movie reviews are owned by certain companies and they're being claimed. I feel like copyright claimants is very different to actual active monetizing, because copyright claimant, well, monetizing is an advertising, and being a sellout is a creator trying to make money from something that they've created, and being paid through various means to do that. While copyright claims is more of something that you've created being claimed by a third party, where the money doesn't go to you in any way, shape or form. I feel like it's a very complicated second issue. Copyright law and copyright standards within the YouTube community is phenomenally complicated. When it comes to being a sellout and monetizing your own content, that's also phenomenally complicated, and I think there is intersection, but there is a lot of separation there. So yeah, I'm I can't say whether or not, like, are you proud that you've been claimed, because I don't really know how to react to that. I think I've got 2 monetized claimed videos, just because I've used copyrighted songs, which have been claimed and monetized on outside of my control, which I'm fine with. I think those are both my dancing videos. I think all of my other dancing videos, I've edited the music short enough that I haven't had any strikes on it. But my channel trailer, that music is that has been claimed, and my You're So Square dance video thing from years ago, that is also claimed, and that's an Elvis song. So I think copyright claimant is a really interesting subject, but it's too big to cover in one video, even one as long-winded as commentaries usually end up being. Whew. Anyway, moving on to last week's commentary, one of my first ones on a Friday. So let's have a look. Mark Armano said, I was talking a lot about Summer Glau's work. He said he'd watched Mammoth and The Initiation of Sarah 2, and would maybe watch Summer's Deadly Honeymoon, which is one of the most subtle honeys I've ever seen. Good work, sir, good work. I have seen Deadly Honeymoon. It's not great. You know, as always, Summer Glau puts in a pretty good performance. But it's one of those kind of, it's a lifetime movie. It's not going to be anything Academy Award winning or particularly insightful in terms of the human condition, unless you only watch shows like that. But yes, those are all entertainingly pretty bad films. I think Summer Glau has, if she had a better agent, I think she could have done better. She was kind of sadly typecast into certain roles, which she's now starting to break from. But yeah, it was not the best really examples of a good movie decision making there. But you know, she was paid for a role, and they're all entertaining, and I've watched all of them, so they did something right. KSJ Hawker 94 says tangerines. Oh, you said tangents. There we go. Honey on toast is delightful. Yes, more honey is honey. And Baxon says he likes peanut butter and honey sandwiches, which sounds bizarre. I don't know whether or not that's true or not, but yes, that's slightly weird. But I can see the appeal. Like peanut butter is one of those kind of, you can have it sweet, you can have it savoury type things. Like I don't particularly like peanut butter. I wouldn't choose to have it in a sandwich, but I do like satay chicken a lot, which is a peanut-based thing. So there we go. And he's tried watching Critical Role live, but he finds the chat distracting. I tend to watch Critical Role either on a large screen where I'm like looking at it, or I tend to watch it while I'm semi-conscious where I'm not looking at it anyway, or I have it on another tab where I'm just listening to it. Usually I watch each episode of Critical Role twice, which is really bad. It's really bad, but usually I kind of watch most of one and then I podcast it for the second viewing just so I can keep up with any plot lines or, you know, reconnect with anything I missed. I think I said a couple of weeks ago, I don't know what context or which video, but I used to read books at least 3 times. So it's fun kind of revisiting plot lines with Critical Role, particularly because, you know, if I'm watching it at night, which I try not to watch it live because it is so bad for my health watching it at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's exactly the wrong time to watch it. If it was starting at 3 o'clock, I could, you know, sleep and then watch it from 3 o'clock. No, one sec. If it was starting at 7 o'clock, I could get up and watch it at 7. Or starting at 5 o'clock, maybe, I could get up at 5 o'clock and watch it and have like 5 hours sleep. Or I could, if it was starting at 12, I could watch till 3. But getting up at 3 o'clock is exactly the wrong time of night for me to be able to healthily watch it. And so if I've kind of watched it at that time, then I'm going to have to watch it a second time anyway, because there is no way I'm going to have absorbed the plot points that I should have absorbed. But yes, if I either watch it on full screen focus or I watch it away from the screen. Words and stuffs and things. Moving on to Nathan Lyle says I should watch Knights of Badassdom. Knights of Badassdom is one of those films that I've been trying to watch for so long. Because I was such an avid follower of Summer Glau for so long, I was aware of it when she was cast, and then I followed it and I was like, this is amazing. I was just starting to get into the concept of LARPing, and LARPing was such a cool concept. And I was really into True Blood at the time, which, you know, first or second season, they're pretty good. After that, it's kind of a bit of a squirrely mess. But anyway, so I was interested, I was watching Game of Thrones, so like Peter Dinklage and Ryan Cortan and Summer Glau all in the film about LARPing. I was like, this is the best thing ever. And I was with it during the production, during the first release of the photos, during the first trailers, during the production problems and the release problems and the distribution problems, and I was there for every single time. And then it finally got released, and there was no way that I could watch it live. And then, because I've been with it for so long, all my enthusiasm drained away. It's like when you get advertisements for Christmas in June. Like, by the time you get to Christmas, your energy and enthusiasm for such a concept just drains. Like, nothing else going on there. By the time I finally had access to it, because I couldn't find it in the cinema, I had to wait till it was released. By the time it was released, I just had lost all my energy for it, and so I still haven't seen it. So me and my sister are planning on watching a movie tonight. I might be able to persuade her to watch Knights of Badassdom with me. We shall see how persuasive I can be. But yes, it's Sorry. Sorry for the rant, but it's one of those things. Same thing happened with the Muppet movie. The Muppet movie, I was there from the beginning, and by the time it got released in the UK, all of my willingness to go out to the cinema was just gone. I didn't care anymore at that point. There's a couple of films like that where I've been there for so long with such a high anticipation that by the time it finally comes to England, I'm like, I'm just not going to. But there we go. He also talks about Nathan Lyle. Sorry, going back to your comment, because commentary, not just Jenny rants. Wow, I think I must have inhaled some dust or something. Or maybe just some of my rage is trying to, like, you know, come out some more, maybe. I don't know. Says he was talking about have you ever seen a rainbow in my rainbow video from 2 weeks ago? They're from Creedence Clearwater Revival, who were a big band in the 60s and 70s. Another great song from that period is Sugar Sugar. Oh, honey, honey. Another honey, awesome, love it. So, finally, Red Sky Blackbird at 1:40 says, release the Quacken! Because release the Quacken is a really fun thing to say. Moving on to my D&D show thing, which also happened to be my 100th video of the year. On the 100th day of the year, I was actually ahead for once. Oh my gosh, it was amazing. Which meant that because I was in this afterglow of like 4 days of actually having like 2 days worth of videos filmed and like plans for all my other videos, I then got really, really behind, and I still haven't finished uploading the videos from last week / this week / I'm trying not to talk about it because, you know, in 6 months' time, no one's going to know this was filmed on the wrong day of the week. But you guys know, you guys who've just had your comments answered, know that I am not filming this video on a Friday. So I'm sorry. But yeah, I was so happy with having, you know, done a super long video that actually uploaded on time, and I did editing and I did production-y things. And yeah, I was actually on time for my 100th video. Now I'm not. But there we go. Moving on. Chris Ware says, happy 100th episode. Thank you, Chris. It was really fun. I'm really proud of myself for getting that far. Red Sky Blackbird says, Vaxlith. I still, for some reason in my brain, it's like a psychological block. For the hashtag for Vaxeldon and Keyleth, which is the hashtag that I kind of put my heart out to for the Critical Role community. Just simply, the main reason why that's really the only ship that I go for is the only ship where they've actually like shown progression in a really like adult way. All the other ships are I bet so and so would get with so and so, or those guys have sexual tension. And I don't want to read too much into it because, like, for one thing, I'm a huge fan of platonic friendship and platonic love. So, like, Grog and Pike, I think the only reason why people don't ship them is because of their size difference. And I love that they don't get shipped. It's actually a true friendship. It's like a sibling relationship. And I love the fact that obviously there's a couple of other characters that don't get shipped. They actually form a relationship. So I really, really love that they've actually progressed that ship into actual canon. And I'd be interested to see where it goes, because I feel like because of the way that Vax is very, very disconnected from his emotional self, I feel like there is a lot of potential for that ship to either fail or continue to somewhere really lovely. But it really does depend on how the game progresses. I think it's a desperately interesting relationship between two broken people. And my favorite piece of art from that is she is the sunshine, or she is she's the piece by one of the key artists for Critical Role, where it's just them, like, you know, the kind of just being together in a non-sexual way, because those characters are very non-sexual, considering on stream we experienced Keyleth's first ever kiss. I feel like it's really good to see those two characters play out their characters in the, you know, it is a very natural forming relationship that's very, very imperfect with two very, very broken people who've got incredibly difficult things to deal with. Not to mention dragons. So yeah, that's my favourite ship, I have to say. And I think, obviously they've talked about, I think Matthew Mercer's talked about it in DM tips and other things. When it comes to in-game romances, it's something that you need to commit to, but also be very considerate about. They are all adults and they are playing characters. And I don't believe for a second that it's that awkward, because obviously, Marisha and oh wow, drawing a blank. Oh my god, that's terrible. That's really, really bad. Oh my gosh. Oh frick. It's been a long day. The thing is, I've got no internet, so I can't even check. Marisha and Laura Bailey. I'm completely drawing blank. The guy that plays Vax and Marisha Ray sit very far apart, and anything that they visualize is visualization. It's I invite him in, or I kiss her, or that. Like, it's non-physical. I think because they're all actors. Like, all of them have to play other roles where, whether they're physically on set or pretending or doing that sort of thing, there is a reasonable amount of, everyone knows and trusts that they're in a different relationship to each other. Like, for example, there is a lot of people advocating for Percy and Vex to get together, and of course Travis and Travis Willingham and Laura Bailey are married. So, no one's kind of jumping down that awkwardness that could be. Also because, Vex flirts with Grog, and Vex flirts with pretty much anyone. But no one's jumping down that relationship. But pretty much everyone on the show is married or in a significant relationship. Obviously Travis and Laura are married. I'm gonna go with character names because I remember those. Marisha is with Matthew Mercer. So Keyleth is with her DM. Vex is with Grog. Scanlan is married, and so is Vax. So the only kind of single player is Ashley Johnson at this point. So, it's bound to be awkward as they form fake romances, but I don't think it's going to be truly awkward because they're all actually adults who act and they are able to separate their characters from themselves. But there we go. Whew, wow, rambly. I'm not going to look at how long this video is. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, you guys. Moving on. Backthorn says that favourite critical role moments are Percy blowing the head off the mind flare. I love Crota, who talks like this. It's really creepy. That's really cool. That was a really bad impression of Crota, but there we go. Really good visual. Trinket being turned into a cat. That was so cute. Cow Machinima, Makima, however you pronounce that. My pronunciation is terrible. Was hilarious. Like, I watched that episode like 4 times because it was just like continuously, and we become cows, and then she's a cow clinging to the back of a giant bird. Okay. Will Wheaton was hilarious as well. I love that. The thing that I love about Critical Role is you really do have that level of, like, you can have the really high comedy moments with the ridiculousness, but you also have, the real consequences of death and long-running emotional problems for certain things. You have relationships that could crush and burn. You have genuine death and loss. The whole of Percy's arc was incredibly dark. while, you know, in the middle of that build up, we had the cow episode. You know, in the darkest episodes, you can have moments where you're crying with laughter, but you know, the next episode, one of the characters could die, and it's got highs and lows that you don't get with a TV series. What's interesting is also because they're in these 4-hour long episodes, it's not like you get the same amount of time spent with them. Say, from, let's go with, terrible at maths. You get from 6 or 7 episodes what you get for an entire series of TV, and you're with the characters for every single moment. At all times, almost every single episode, all the characters together. You're not spending time with one character and then another character and then another character. All characters are pretty much on screen for the entire time, apart from Ashley, bless them. So it's very, like, you get those emotional beats. I love the visuals. I think one of the reasons why, I think one of my videos from early in this year was my reaction to when the Chroma Conclave hit. And I remember spending all day at work with this psychological, like, blinders on, that all I could think about was this. I had to go to work before the end of the episode, and all I could think of was the visuals of this dragon latching onto Alora's tower and it crumbling beneath his giant white claws, and then breathing in the thing and the tower crumbling. That was the only thing in my head all day at work, because I literally watched that scene and then I had to go to work, and all day at work I was like in the office and doing other things, and all I could think about was this white dragon who was like climbed onto Alora's tower and not knowing what was going to happen next. I think I did an entire video about it, about how imagination is intoxicating, because that day I was like emotionally, imaginatively high. It was amazing. Anyway, wow! So much talking! So very much talking. KSJ says happy 100th video day, thank you. And Red Sky Blackbird commented a couple more times. I've already replied to his comment once, but I will talk about his other comments. Which is, my group seems to have a tendency to mass murder themselves. Yes, they do. Flaming strike plus explosions. Anyone grouped together equals death. Can I introduce all my players in the next video? I think it's very, very unlikely that you guys will ever see me run a D&D game with my local D&D group. I don't particularly know them very well. I know them through D&D and the sessions that I've played with them in D&D. I didn't know them before. It was a group that I just joined because I wanted to find a D&D group. So I'm not particularly close friends with them outside of D&D. I think it'd be very unfair for me to film them. Even if I were to ask each of them individually, get the permission, it's in a public place. I think it'd be difficult with the audio to get good video quality. Generally, I feel like I don't mind discussing the concepts that we play, the plot lines, my character specifically. I really don't mind doing that. Funny moments, I'm very happy to talk about, but I don't think I'll ever take a camera to the pub to play. It's a public setting. It's with people who might not be comfortable on camera. And I feel like it's not my story. Like, when it's my story, when it's my character, or when it's a plot point that my character's involved in, or in general terms, I really feel I can talk about that. When it's other people's characters and other people's lives, I feel like that's something that I really shouldn't go with unless I have their permission. I think it would just be very difficult to capture the art. I'm not going to be able to take, for example, my laptop with me and do a full video of a session. And it's okay playing clips here and there, but again, like Critical Role, the reason why Critical Role is so successful is you can see the entire game every single time. You don't have edits, you don't have cuts, you have the gameplay and the magic in between, the moments of combat and that sort of thing. Well, I don't think anyone within my group would feel comfortable being on camera for that long. My camera wouldn't last for that long. I'd have to bring my laptop. It's just, I don't think it's ever going to happen that way. It is possible, maybe by and by, that I might run some sort of online D&D game with maybe someone from Project Chronicle, or maybe some of my other internet friends, which I would be maybe interested in doing, although there is a kind of a wall that happens when you're going through a web camera. But I don't think I'm going to be showing my IRL game anytime soon, unless I can get some of my more camera confident friends, which I have almost none, to be part of a game. And those two spheres of interest in my personal life don't really coexist. the ones who are interested to be on camera, which, as I said, is almost no one, do not coexist with the people who are like, woo, D&D. So we shall see. And Red Sky Blackbird also comments on long-term NPCs, Gilmore, woo, and the others. That was pretty awesome. And which character backstory do I like the most? I really like Keyleth. I really relate to her. Her reveal recently, which I don't know whether or not it's part of the ones that are on YouTube, so I won't spoil it. Her reveal to Vax about her future is something that's really very interesting. I love the fact that she's kind of terrified of her power, which is very similar to my cleric character, my first D&D character, Nyla. Nylia Vandemon. She was very powerful. She was, blessed by a god, and that's where she got her cleric-based powers through a traumatic incident of nearly dying and seeing her family ripped apart. And, one of the things that I like about that is she is terrified of her power, particularly, the really high attack powers for clerics do a lot of damage. Like, inflict wounds is a necromantic spell that does some severe damage and basically sucks people's souls out. And she uses that spell. And it was one of the spells I used a lot because it's a really good combat spell. But she's really scared of her power, and I really like that about Keyleth. I like the fact that she's true good. She really wants to do well in the world, but she's terrified of how much power she can have, and I really like that as a concept, and how that affects her personal life, and how she is still kind of a little girl inside, but she's got so much innate power. I think that's probably the one that I'd be most interested in. I think I would really like to find out more about Grog and Pike, and I think we will find out more about Grog and Pike, particularly if we carry on with the current Vestiges plotline. But obviously we need Ashley back in order to invest in that plotline a little bit. Ashley's hinted that the Scanlan Pike ship might not be quite right, because Pike might be interested in someone else. That was, I think, in one of the additional interviews, like a post-stream interview a while ago, and I remember that moment, and I feel like that's a really interesting character point, that she might not end up with Scanlan. And Scanlan is, like, personally probably one of my least favourite characters, or one of the characters that took me a while to learn to like, just because he is kind of a misogynist arse, in the most literal sense. He is he doesn't see women as complete entities, and he has learned and he's grown, particularly with the introduction of his daughter, and his genuine interest in Pike has spurned a change in his character from when he first started to what he is now, but it took me a long time to adjust to that, and I'll be really interested to see if Ashley comes back, whether or not we get some other information on what that scenario could be. I don't think there's any sort of romantic relationship between her and Grog. I just don't think that. I think it's a very sibling thing. But I'd be really interested to see whether or not it's something to do with her time spent away with the pirates that she spent time with when she was recovering from her death incident, or whether or not there's something else going on. There's a lot of potential for what that particular statement could have meant, and that was a long time ago. That was before the introduction of Scanlan's daughter and his change of heart and his genuine trying to avoid sexual encounters outside of his relationship with Pike. So I'll be really interested to see what happens with her character. I think that's one of the characters that we've had the least information about. We've done a lot of time with Keyleth, we've done a lot of time with Percy. Grog we're really starting to learn more about. Scanlan, I think we could develop some more. I feel like we need to know a little bit more about his past maybe, but we have done a reasonable amount with him. As I said, Percy we spent loads of time with. The twins, I think the most interesting thing about the twins is they've got a backstory. But they're not important people. They're not princesses or lords or anything like that. What I like about them is they're just kind of normal folk, and so where their interest comes from is their potential, not their past. So I'm really interested to see how those characters develop, but I'm not interested too much in seeing their backstory. I think Pike probably is the one that I'm most interested in seeing more of her past and finding out more about her as a person, just because we've spent so little time with Ashley. I think it'd be really good to actually spend some time with her actually when she's able to properly interact with the game and really get more into that character, because I feel like there's a lot more to that character than just what we've seen. Finally, blimmin' heck, Sunday sum up. Woohoo! Oh, long day. Sunday sum up. Last week's first Sunday sum up, where I talk about some things to do with the internet, some things not to do with the internet that I've kind of done and enjoyed during that week. Big Virgo Tube says, a week without strangling someone. That is a good week indeed. And Nathan Lars says, an entire week without strangling someone at work. That is impressive. So clearly everyone who watches my channel is has got some, you know, deep-seated rage hidden down there somewhere. Yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Feel free to comment down below. For those of you who watch regularly, you'll know what I mean when I say secret word of the day. But basically, for those of you who don't watch, I like to give credit where credit's due. And those of you who've watched all the way to the end of this video, which I know is a long video, I haven't looked at the timestamp, but I know it's a long video, I know it's a large investment to watch the end of this video. So, I put a secret word at the end of each video that I ask you guys to put in the comments, and that way I know that you guys have watched the end, because you're crazy people and you're wonderful. So today's secret word of the day is going to be crown. C-R-O-W-N. Somehow you can work it into comments, you can do it as subtly as you like the ooh honey honey and the watching the Summer Glau film Honeymoon. That was really well done from last week. This week the word is crown. You can be as subtle as you like, or you can be as on the nose as you like. You can be like, I got to the end of the video, crown, if you like. But whatever you fancy. That's about it. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys all next week on Friday for a commentary, and tomorrow for a daily vlog of some kind. All that jazz. Thank you for watching, thank you all for participating, thank you all for your comments this week, and I'll see you all very soon. Bye guys!